House haunted? In weird ways, 2 parts. These are true and kinda freak me out. Maybe there's logic, but the first I really don't get. Never been in this sub, so hopefully I meet the rules. I'm not that much of a superstitious person, always been more logical as I want proof however. My dad's house was built in the late 1800s in central Utah, but there's always been an odd vibe there, especially the basement. Doesn't seem violent presence but probably a something. There's 2 things I experienced there I've never been able to shake, decades later even. 1. I had a weird closet at the house in my room. It gave me the creeps but thought nothing of it except traditional kid stuff like nightlight and hide under blankets every night. I went and saw the Boogeyman movie, 2000s-ish, which was an awful movie. I was laying down a little freaked out, but being a teenager I told myself it was dumb, go to sleep. Flip around in bed and all sudden hear a thump, the entire door handle fell off of the closet. I slept with the light on that night. The weird part is I eventually became a door builder, and not only me but several others looked at that door and it makes zero logical sense it fell out. The screws were still in and tight, there wasn't rust, the door itself with the hinging was structurally sound. And again, as someone who knows way too much about doors, and had others in that company look as they were curious, no one understands why. Wild stuff. I'll never be able to understand this beyond random occurrence. Which I don't feel is right. 2. My friend, wife, and me did acid for the first time. I can chalk this up to drugs, but it was still weird. We were watching Rango, when me and friend noticed my wife was gone. Spent a good 30 minutes looking, and eventually found her downstairs talking nonsense, not English, she doesn't know another language, to nothing. I grabbed her shoulder and she kinda snapped out of a trance, bright-eyed looked at me and asked what? I told her we'd been looking for her and she said she just barely got down there, 30 minutes prior, and had no idea where the 30 minutes had gone. She's to this day is still terrified to rethink the moment. I again want to say it was probably drugs, but we did acid again and that never happened. The look in her eyes when I grabbed her was wild. I can chalk the second up as drugs, but can't for the first with having an extensive knowledge of doors. And no matter what, every person I've brought into that house notices that something is off. My sister lived in the basement and says she saw all kinds of crazy shit, stories for another day. Maybe old house and mold hallucination? Crazy stuff though.